your arm in, shoulder, flexion, elbow should be what? Extended. I'm going to stabilize. Okay, just proximal. Provide resistance just. Okay, I'm going to tell Carol, I'm going to manual muscle test you. I want you to try to bring your arm up, okay? And I'm going to try to resist you and try to push down. Don't let me. Are we ready? Okay, go. I'm going to provide resistance. Okay. How long am I going to hold this for?
5 seconds.
3 to 5 seconds. Can you kind of get a feel? Like if we can hold it for a while, you get tired, Carol? Yeah. Okay. So about 3 to 5 seconds. But if they're giving right away, you're just gonna, obviously, because you can injure them, they're gonna die. About 3 to 5 seconds, you can usually get them. Okay. So try that. Let me see. Just find resistance in what direction? Extension. Extension. If I'm measuring extension, elbow extension manual muscle testing, the resistance is applied in what direction? Direction. Okay. I'm going to place them in about 90 degrees.
Place them what? 45.
For elbow, what position? First of all, let's go back. Where's my shoulder going to be at for elbow flexion extension?
Adducted.
It's adducted. Okay. You're going to be, what is mid-range of your elbow?
Oh, it's 45. No, it's actually more than that because it's
45, right?
70, 75-ish, depending on if you're looking at the 135 to 150 range. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, okay? I'm going to position, right about in this position here. I'm going to actually apply, or I'm going to stabilize her right kind of before the joint, okay? A little bit touching the joint. I don't want to stabilize right in the joint, right? Because of why? Going to restrict you a little bit. Okay. Now, this is a little bit different because typically they say just distal, just proximal to the joint. But because of the moment arm, the lever arm, how long this is, get some terminologies in there, I'm not going to necessarily just apply resistance here, okay? I'm actually going to come down a little bit more to the distal forearm a little bit more. So I'm going to ask her to go ahead and...
Is your hand supinated or neutral?
She should be kind of between a supinated and a neutral position, okay? She should be neutral, but it's slightly supinated.
Super neutral.
It's super neutral. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to tell her I'm going to try to straighten your arm, okay? I want you to resist me and don't let me, okay? Are you ready? Yes, go. And I'm going to grade her. What am I measuring?
Strength.
Yeah.
And the muscle strength.
Okay, but which one?
Oh, you measuring
Flexion.
Flexion, yeah. Why? Because she's flexing. And how long would I hold it? Would I hold it as long as I just did?
No.
3 to 5 seconds. Okay. Now, she just did flexion. Now we're going to do extension. How do I do extension? Okay. I'm going to kind of just by here. I'm going to ask her to try to extend your arm. Okay. I'm going to try to resist you. Don't let me. Okay. Go. Okay. Because now what am I doing? I'm just providing stabilization to block her. Okay? And I'm going to grade that. 3 to 5 seconds-ish. Okay? So you don't want to go really just proximal and distal to the joint here because you have too much of a, this area is too long, for lack of better terminology. Okay? You want to come down a little bit more. Okay? Extension, flexion, try that. Let's pause together. We're doing extension? Yes. Okay. So you're going to ask them to try to bring their wrist up. And you're going to try to block it by pushing down, okay? Where do I start them at? Where's the wrist at?
Neutral.
Neutral. Keep them neutral, okay? And then you're going to ask them to extend their wrist, okay, while you're trying to push down or flex the wrist. You could do it in this position. I could do it in this position. I'm going to get really in her personal space here. I'm going to kind of stabilize her, okay? I'm going to put her in neutral. I'm going to ask her to go ahead and try to extend her wrist, okay? And I'm going to try to push it down, okay? So I'm in here, okay, and I could be in a chair, but I have her, what, elbow tucked in at the side. I'm actually using my body. I know, strange. I'm coming in here, I'm stabilizing, okay? Try to be careful a little bit with your thumbs that you're not doing any kind of a digging. Okay, go ahead and try to extend, and I'm going to block her and try to push her into flexion, okay? Or you could also do it on the table as well. A little bit more trickier. Obviously, you have a nice little comfy pad to be able to do that. I'm going to, now I'm totally, my arms are opposite. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to come here, I'm going to stabilize, kind of up to the crease, but not exactly on the wrist. crease, okay? Because I don't want to interfere with that joint too much. I want to give her a little bit of stabilization though. Okay, I'm going to ask you to extend. I'm going to try to flex, okay? So any of your, she's strong. She's taking me, man. She's taking me. You as a therapist would not be in this position, by the way. So if this is on the internet, this is not where the therapist should be. Just showing it. Okay. So obviously you're going to be seated at the table with them, across from the table. These are actually perfect tables if you split them apart because they're just like hand therapy tables, so they're perfect distance apart. Okay. Either three ways: over the edge of a table, okay, kind of at the side how I was here, or up here. This table would be split. I would be sitting here nice and comfortably with her, and we'd be doing it this way. Okay. Make sense? Okay. Elbow should be at 90 degrees, tucked in at your side. These are bad body images here for me, but thank you. Okay, there's a couple different ways that you can really get in here and do this one. Last time we talked about kind of stabilizing down here, and our chairs are going to be moving. Okay, coming into the hand, I could ask her to go ahead and supinate. Go ahead and supinate, and I'm going to resist her. This is okay to do if you have nice, young, healthy people. Okay, but if you have anybody at all who's arthritic, I'd be very worried about this a little bit. Okay, particularly CMC, because do you see how much pressure I'm putting on there? Also, you're torquing the wrist a little bit. What I typically would do a lot of times is I will come down here, okay, kind of put them on my forearm a little bit. Stabilize here, okay, kind of holding her in. And what I'll do is I'll ask her to go ahead and supinate, and then I'm going to resist and pronate. Kind of hold on here. Okay, ready? Yep. Okay, so that way I'm kind of giving her resistance. Unfortunately, with supination and pronation, you are going to get a little bit of some shearing forces. It's just the nature of the beast, okay, because you're taking the skin and you're having to go in one direction or the other, okay? Or you could also come in here, assuming that the wrist is stabilized, come in here, go ahead and supinate, and then I'm going to fight and resist her, okay? So I don't know if you guys can see that, I kind of have my finger over her wrist joint to try to help provide a little bit of stabilization, okay? Because, and I can do that there because why? Because remember I said don't block the joints before, but this is a what? A forearm. Okay, we're talking about the radial and ulnar, proximal and distal joints is really what's causing this movement. So you do want to kind of block and stabilize the wrist a little bit. So you want to kind of get in there and get a little bit of stabilization, because sometimes with supination and pronation, you'll see folks do a little wrist flexion or wrist extension with it. You want to try to keep it in a neutral position. Okay, so play around with those a little bit. Okay, either this way, that way. You can do it this way. If you do it this way, though, I say at least get one finger, 2 fingers in there to stabilize the wrist to do it. Okay, this way. But keeping in mind that you're putting a lot of tension on that thumb. Okay, so play around with those and see what feels the best for you.